Are you fans of high quality entertainment? So in this video, I'm going to pick 10 of the weirdest CDs in my collection. Let's go. That was weird. So yeah, I like regular classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, ZZ Top. I love the Monkees. Just, fairly normal rock music. But then again, I like weird music too, unlike some of you out there. And so I'm going to pick and just one per artist, otherwise I'd just show you a bunch of Ween CDs. I'm going to pick the 10 strangest or weirdest albums here in my CD collection. This is going to be lots of fun, at least for me. Well, I got some weird ones. In fact, I decided to do 12 instead of 10. I basically lied to my viewers. So I'm not going to rank these or anything, but I think I'll show what I consider, maybe the final ones will be the weirdest of them all. Maybe I will rank them. Yeah, the last 4 is kind of what I would consider the most bizarre. So, and some of these, probably all of these I've talked about before, but I just thought it would make for a fun video. And I might do next or soon, maybe top 10 or top 12 weird songs by great bands, artists. So first is Lord Sutch and Heavy Friends, and I'm kind of basing this on the very first time I listened to these. Maybe, after a few listens they weren't as weird as the first listen. But this one, I don't know how I came across it. It was the early 70s, somehow. I had the vinyl of this. And, you're seeing the names on the front. Jimmy Page. You're kind of wondering if it's a joke or something, because Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin, and then Jeff Beck, and Noel Redding from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and Nicky Hopkins. This must be really good. Well, it actually, music-wise it is, but Mr. Lord Sutch, there he is. He couldn't carry a tune in a garbage can. You think I can't sing? Listen to this. I should have been on this album. It would have been much better. Yeah. My favorite song is Flashing Lights with Jimmy Page on guitar. Even the vocals on that aren't too bad. It's just overall, he's not a great singer, but still, it's a fun listen once or twice a year. This one just makes me kind of smile. You know how Van Morrison always makes people smile. Yeah, the Authorized Bang collection, which includes some normal, the original masters, Brown Eyed Girl, and lots of other good songs. But disc 3, and I don't know if this was released as just one album, but anyway, disc 3 is the contractual obligation session. So what happened there was he was not happy with his record company, but the record company demanded one more album or whatever, how many songs the record company wanted from him. So he stormed into the studio and said, I'll give you some songs. And he wrote there's 31 songs here. And some of them with really silly titles. Twist and Shake, Shake and Roll, Stomp and Scream, those are 3 different songs. Scream and Holler, and then Jump and Thump, and then some other ones here. Freaky If You Got This Far, 32, All the Bits, You Say France and I Whistle, Blowing Your Nose, Nose in Your Blow, Want a Danish, Hang on Groovy, Goodbye George, Dum Dum George, The Wobble, Wobble and Ball. So yeah, bizarre and funny. Now this band is weird. Most of their albums, I could have picked almost any one, but the one that I've chosen is the Residents commercial album. And this is the deluxe version. So the regular album, just one album, had 40 songs. And each song was exactly, or is exactly, 1 minute long. And there's, see the songs there from the original album. And it just goes on and on and on. So once again, you know, weird, but kind of a fun listen, sort of. So this one, when this came out, I love this album, but I'm sure a lot of rock fans that knew of this artist, first time they played it, the first song isn't weird at all. It's typical of this artist, you know, a good song. But then it gets into this synthesizer and drum machine and everything, and this vocoder, is it called? Manipulating his vocals. Neil Young Trance. It's one of my favorite Neil Young albums. But I do, you know, I get it. You know, it's not Harvest. Or one of his other more, you know, commercial albums. But yeah, I've always, I think even on the first listen, I kind of enjoyed it. But, you know, I did find it a little weird. Now, this album was released the very same day as Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's the very first David Bowie album. And for him, you know, if you knew his later work with Ziggy Stardust and all that, and then you go back, oh, I'm going to buy his first album. It's completely different. It's, I know he was a big fan of Anthony Newley. It's like music hall. It's just, it's not what you would expect from David Bowie, but it's not a terrible album. It's, you know, an interesting listen, I guess I would say. But it's no Ziggy Stardust. First time I listened to this, and I think it's the same with a lot of people, that the first time they listen to this album, they basically don't like it. They detest it. They hate it. But some of us, like me, we give an album another chance or two. Sometimes three more chances. Then you're out. But I quickly warmed up to the craziness of Captain Beefheart's Trout mask replica. I mean, it starts with the album cover. You want weird, here it is. And there's spoken word tracks. But like I said, just the way that the band is amazing, but you have to get used to the way they all play together or don't play together. It's weird, but love it. How about one of possibly your favorite 60s bands, releasing an album in the 70s after the lead singer has passed away. A few years later, they record this, and they use his spoken word poetry, and they create an album. Jim Morrison, An American Prayer, music by the Doors. I love it. I know some fans of the Doors don't, but the music is great. But it is definitely, it's not light my fire. It's weird. Yeah, so these would be my top 5 weirdest. I am. I'm a big fan of this artist overall. Not that every album he's released has been great, but at the time, in the 80s, every album was really good or great. And then he releases a 3-record set, 3 vinyl records, and I couldn't wait to rush home to play it. But it was no Joe's Garage, it was Thingfish. And I still don't like it much, but the last time I did play some of it, it was okay. But once again, you can kind of tell by the album cover, it's going to be a little bizarre. And there's a lot of spoken word and, yeah, not my favorite. Lots of people are fans of this band that I'm about to mention and this solo artist. So why not combine them and make Lulu? Yeah, Metallica and Lou Reed, you would, before this happened, you would never, ever, ever. Gee, I wonder if Lou Reed and Metallica will ever collaborate on an album. And I'm a big Lou Reed fan, and I respect Metallica. I'm not a big fan or anything. And I know some people really pan this and hate it and everything. I don't hate it. I'd rather listen to another Lou Reed album than this. But it's okay. I did it for my series, Does This Album Suck? And it doesn't suck. It's not for everybody, though. And once again, a weird album cover kind of gives you a taste of what the music is like inside. Same as this album cover, even though it's not really weird, it's the opposite of weird. Monks. Black Monk Time. This came out, you wouldn't believe it by just seeing these pictures. This came out in 1966. They were way ahead of their time. This is like punk rock before punk rock. And one of the members plays I think it's an electric banjo, which you don't think would work, but it does for this band. They only released one album. And it's a doozy. Yeah, I really do love this album. And there's the band there. Of course, they're bizarre looking. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, so this album is actually pretty well respected by, it's got a pretty big cult following, I would say. And it's, like I said, respected. I don't know about respected for this one, but as I've said before, if you know, you just have to look it up. It's very easy to look up online. the whole story with the father and his 3 daughters. He wanted them to make a record even though they basically had no talent. They didn't know how to play instruments. But he got them into the recording studio and they made Philosophy of the World. And the songs are actually, they're not good, but they're entertaining and they're kind of endearing in a way, if you know the whole story. And there they are, live in concert, the Shaggs. Saving the weirdest for last. Yes, it's Ween. The first time in a CD exchange, Brian, forget his last name at the moment, in a CD exchange a couple of years ago, I was given, just to listen to on Spotify, this band Ween and the album Quebec. I'd always heard of Ween, never heard their music, and this album blew me away. I loved it, and I bought it, soon after. And yeah, it was just amazing. Very talented band, and every song on this is totally different. The first song almost sounds like it's very similar to Motorhead, and then the following song doesn't sound anything like anything, but it's all really good. There's even some serious songs on here, like the final song, If You Could Save Yourself, You'd Save Us All, and great guitar work and everything. So I was a Ween fan. So I rush on the computer, I order from Amazon, one of their least expensive CDs, because some of them are pretty hard to come by these days. And thank you again to Pal for gifting me 4 Ween CDs. So the next one I bought was The Pod. Once again, very bizarre album cover. A parody of Leonard Cohen's greatest hits. I put it on. It didn't have the production value, as we'll say, of Quebec. It didn't sound I wouldn't say it sounded bad, but it didn't sound professional. They were using a 4-track tape machine at the time. Now it sounds great, but on my first listen. And as I've said before, I absolutely hated it. I stuck through, I listened to it all the way through, hating every second, almost every second of it. But then I played it again, maybe a week later. I didn't play it again right away. I knew better. And I liked it. And now, of course, I love it. I love all 8 of the Ween CDs I have. And the same thing happened to me with Pure Guava and God, Ween, Satan, their debut album. I hated those albums too on the first listen. So my advice to almost anybody out there, if you listen to an album or a song for the first time and you hate it, depending, if it's a Nickelback song, then obviously. But, give albums a chance. Otherwise, if say I bought The Pod first, not knowing, I hadn't heard Quebec. I played it once. I hated it. And I discarded it. That would be sad because I'm a huge fan of Ween now. And that is it. I hope this video wasn't too weird for you. Let me know in the comment section below, what are some weird albums in your collection? Bye.